Hello and welcome back to The Weird Side, the YouTube channel where we do absolutely anything, but clearly we don't do absolutely anything because we've got 24 YouTube channels. There's a lot we don't do because we do it elsewhere. Today we are back with another glorious, wonderful, amazing, yet extraordinary interview. I do say so myself. I'll give myself the praise before we even started because that's how narcissism works. But clearly I'm not narcissistic. There will be more interviews by me across many channels, so stay tuned and keep an eye out and all that jazz. I'll share it where I share it. You just have to chase and find it. Or just turn your notifications on and it'll find you, so I don't have to do any heavy lifting. But we digress. My guest today is best known for working on one of the greatest channels that beats gold for many clear reasons I mentioned in many videos and everyone mentions, is the one and only Sarah Cronin.
Drum roll. Hello, folks. I'm not sure about the weird bit, Tom. Why have you asked me for a weird section?
Well, it's not really weird. It's just that I could talk about anything, and someone suggested the word weird, and I just went with it. And it's been like 8 years since I've started this channel, actually. So we shall start at the very beginning because Julie Andrews keeps on saying it's a good place to start, and she's not been wrong just yet. And one day she will be wrong, but not yet. How did Talking Pictures TV come about and begin in the first place?
Oh, that's a long question, Tom. I'd say short answer is Dad couldn't find anything to watch on telly. So he decided to set up his own channel, is the short version. But yeah, he was very much under the got awareness, shall we say, that TV, linear TV particularly, had forgotten about his age group. The 65 plus or even 50 plus is a big part of our audience. And he said, TV's forgotten about us. There's nothing on that I want to watch. So we're going to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. Bit crazy.
And do you reckon that because there's other channels, well, not ignoring the new ones for now, but other channels like the UK TV brands, do you think that the reason why this is so successful is because it, even though it caters in a similar way to those channels, it broadcasts stuff that you wouldn't get on many other channels. Do you think that's why it's successful? Because it's just airing old things. It's
Yeah.
just airing rare old things that
And
you
it's
might not find.
curated. It's curated. A lot of those other channels that play stuff that are possibly similar, not quite the same as us, are not, they're all done by a computer,
Mm.
and it shows, they've got back-to-back episodes of the same series 4 times, and then guess what? They'll repeat it again after that, just in case you missed it from 6 a.m. Whereas Talking Pictures, Dad does it all with a pen and paper and decides what people would like. We'd like a bit of comedy in the morning, then we'll have a bit of a film noir, and then I do all the filler bits in between. So I, put in the look at life, or the, looking at a biscuit factory in 1952. And I'll put them all in between. And then, of course, we make our own shows, which most of those that have come after us, shall we say, don't. So I'm particularly proud of the footage detectives that I make with Dad and might read on a Sunday at 5 o'clock. That's been a revelation. I mean, I film it in my sister's old bedroom, and we hit 250,000 viewers every Sunday.
Wow, and I think that having a particularly show like footage detector, I think that that helps it be unique because it's for that. But even though the main target audience will enjoy it, it's for people that also love finding out about old like film that you
Hmm.
might not know that was still knocking about, or you might not know that exists. And I think that that's what makes it more not just entertaining to watch, but interesting. Do you think that's why it's lasted so long as a program? Because it's not just interesting to watch, but it's also fascinating for people that are into that type of thing as a hobby, shall we say?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think footage detective kind of touches a lot of people for different reasons. We have the memory joggers, so there's all a bit of nostalgia. Then there's the watching of reels that people have sent in. Can you spot where it is? Everybody likes to do a bit of detective work. And then there is the industry reels that we found that you wouldn't see anywhere else as well. And then, yeah, a bit of Dad's knowledge and Mike's knowledge thrown in. I mean, Mike's a walking dictionary. What that bloke doesn't know. He's also a really lovely chap. And Dad, obviously, people write in with questions about the industry. I mean, he started as a postboy at Rank when he was, I think, about 12, 13.
Yeah.
He first went into, his dad was a Sparky on film sets as well, so he kind of had all of that before. So yeah.
And one of the things that TV has done that most other channels, such as Rewind TV and
Don't you
that
swear at
TV,
me.
haven't done. What was it? Where did the idea come from to create a streaming app that also utilizes the programs that airs on the channel?
Oh, are you talking about our Encore, our free catch-up app?
Yeah,
Well, let's face it, linear TV is on the decline. It's not going to be around forever. I mean, I'm part of the 2030 campaign to keep it going till 2030 if we can. And I think I'll be probably the last channel left when they turn the switch off. So it was a natural progression that we had to look at some kind of online presence. It's also quite clever because, and I didn't realize this till we launched it, but because we don't stream live, you don't need a TV license to watch it,
yeah,
which is really handy. And we have the free version, obviously, with ads. And then this year we launched the paid version as well. Don't worry, we're not taking the free one away. So there is an option for people, and it's quite handy. I mean, part of me thinks, do you really want to watch a 1950s black and white where the cinematographer was at the peak of his career on something like this?
yeah.
Really? I,
Uh,
I don't get it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. And I think that what works with having a catch-up service, and I think that it works in general, is that even if you miss the program or you miss recording it, if you record program, then it depends on who you are as a person. You can get to still see that program because it's available in an easy way of watching it because it's easy to find. And do you think that that's another way of helping keep your audience engaged? Because even if they miss the program, they can still find a way of watching it.
Yeah, definitely. The only thing I would say though is Talking Pictures is very much an appointment channel where you know to tune in at 8 o'clock to get your brother's fix, or Saturday at 8 o'clock it's your family at war fix, or Friday night you've got the Cellar Club with Caroline. So people do kind of put them on their calendar and ring fence their TV guides. My audience still buy TV guides, which are a dying breed. And so that's important. So it is that kind of feeling that we're all watching something together, which I love. And of course you don't get that on the streaming app. It's not streaming, on the catch up app, because you're watching whatever you want when you want, which is great to a degree, but
Yeah.
it's not quite the same feeling.
And I think what having this channel and the way it is, I think it helps to prove the point that linear TV is still a big part of TV. Even you might get like £1,000 million program on Netflix that gets cancelled after 4 episodes that everyone gets angry with, but on Talking Pictures TV, you get the experience of you know this program lasted for a good while, and you know that you're not going to watch something to get into it, and then it'll suddenly just be
This
cancelled. And so I think that that's what helps it because you know that for the next 6 weeks or however long it's on for, you'll be able to watch that same program. And do you think that that's also helps to prove the point to the people, the government and everyone around them that linear TV is still important?
Yeah, to a degree, Tom. Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem is when you go out to license a series, if it's a long running series with like 500 episodes, you have to commit to buying the whole lot. And that's a massive financial commitment. I won't go into the ins and outs of it, but it's a big gamble. And we did get caught out. There was one series, The Need in Line, and
Yeah,
it's the only series we've ever axed. We played the entire, I think it was first and second series, and it just did not rate at all. Like the audience numbers were just, it was like the whole world had gone out as soon as we put it on, it was
yeah,
just awful. And that's the only series a few years ago that we actually didn't play out to the max. But generally, we will play whatever we can get.
yeah.
A lot of these series, of course, Tom, they don't survive a lot of the episodes.
Yeah,
Particularly BBC stuff. It's very disappointing.
yeah. What's interesting with the Ordeal line is that Eden, the channel that I never thought would ever air the Ordeal line, or at least anything that isn't his like nature based programming, because that's what I assumed Eden was. But I think Eden had the same issue because they only aired the first series,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
and they decided, well, we're not going to
It's
funnel it on.
expensive, so if you're not getting bums on seats, it's a bit of a white knuckle ride.
Yeah,
Because you can either hope that people are going to get into it and the world will be all right, or you've got to make a decision and say no, no more. As I said, we fortunately we've only ever done that once.
yeah. And one of the things that's happened in the longevity of Talking Pictures is what was it like when you found yourself being appearing on an American news broadcast?
Oh, CBS.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was hilarious. So we were inundated then with Americans complaining that they couldn't get our channel. And it was a complete admin nightmare for us
yeah,
because we're only a tiny team. We were getting thousands and thousands. I mean, it was literally like ping, 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 ping. It was just a nightmare. What with that and the poor woman picking up a naughty reel. Did you see that,
yeah,
Tom?
yeah. I did.
I'm not joking. If I could show you the office now, there's thousands of reels she could have picked. We never ever had a naughty reel. And people keep saying to me, "Did you plant that?" I'm like, "No, we didn't know we had it." And when she picked up that reel, and I thought they're going to cut it out. They won't. They won't use that. Oh no,
Yeah,
they used it.
yeah. And why do you think that the news the channel made it so that it was well known enough? Why do you reckon that America was interested in it, even though they don't have the version of the channel?
Well, I think everybody's fallen in love with the story that's me and Dad from our shed. Apart from the industry who see us as a bit of a novelty factor and then look at our audience numbers and go, blimey, look at what they're doing. Um, so I think the Americans kind of fell in love with the fact that it was, yeah, me and dad and father and daughter taking on the big boys, which we are to a degree still, it's still tough out there. And you have to keep thinking on your feet. I know we're 10 years old, but that doesn't mean we can take our foot off the pedal. It's still, we're constantly trying out new things, new ideas, finding new archives. And most of the day is spent trying to trace old archives, because there's a world of British films that we haven't been able to get hold of because they're all owned by huge American conglomerates who say, yeah, sure, we'll do a deal, but you got to buy 500,000 titles, like,
Yeah. Yeah, and I wouldn't have said the word novelty, but I think I can see where you're coming from, and I think because it stops being novelty when you get the likes of Frank Skinner. I mean, it's Frank Skinner. That is the type of thing that you can tell that that's what he
yeah.
likes watching, and I think that that's what makes it even more better because you've got like people shouting you out. Do you think that that's another way of helping get an even larger audience because you've got
Oh,
people?
without a doubt. I mean, we were very green, Tom. We're not broadcast. We'd always worked in the industry, but we didn't know anything about broadcasting. And when we first launched, we were desperately thinking like, well, how do you get your audience? So obviously we did stuff on social media and then we sort of phoned up all the TV magazines saying, right, how do we get our listings in? Well, that took me 2 years to get in all the listings
Yeah,
magazines because it's not a slam dunk. And then we were so lucky because Vic Reeves fell in love with our channel
yeah,
and he did a takeover day.
yeah,
And that kind of made it for us because then we had articles in all the papers and stuff. And everybody started to hear about who we were and it cost us nothing, bless him, dear Vic. And we didn't have to pay any of the papers any prices or fees or whatever. So he was brilliant. And Danny Baker, I mean, I cannot thank Danny enough. He was just spectacular. He was banging on everybody's door saying, you've got to watch this. There's old Mother Riley on at 6 o'clock and you need to tune in. And he still does. And he's such a nice bloke.
yeah. And one of the things you've done really recently, if I remember rightly, it was in the last few weeks. That is really recent. My terms of phrase do work. What was it like going back and reappearing on BBC Breakfast?
Worst day of my life. ever. I mean, imagine, right? They ring you up and they say, would you like to come on BBC Breakfast? And I thought it was a friend taking the mickey at first. I thought, oh my goodness, it's not actually BBC Breakfast. So when I took the call, Dad took the call first and he said, oh, BBC Breakfast one. And I thought it was like one of the little BBC, which of course we jump at any chance to get a bit of publicity. And then they were like, no, you got to come to Salford, you got to stay overnight, you'll be on air at between 7:45 and 8, live. I mean, it was just a huge responsibility because if you get it wrong, you're going to look ridiculous on national TV and it'll be on iPlayer forever, and that kept going through my head. And then when we got in the studio, me and Dad, Dad, bless him, he's not a Mr. Showbiz, he's very placid and calm and shy.
Yeah.
I'm not so shy. Uh, uh, it was like we were holding each other's hand as we got to the sofa, and we sat down with Naga and Charlie, and Carol was doing the weather, so we're on like within a second, and Charlie tapped my leg and said, "So why are you here then?" And then we're on. And I was like, So I don't think, bless them, I don't think they'd had the proper brief about
Yeah.
what we were and who Talking Pictures was and why we were sitting on their sofa to have a chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really nerve-wracking, Tom.
And do you think that also helps you bump up more views because it's like word of mouth then gets spread around?
Hope so. I mean, that's why we do it, to keep spreading the word. And, I think the biggest problem is some of the over 65s aren't on social media. So unless they buy an actual paper and see an article or watch something on their breakfast, how are they going to know about us? So we're always championing the whole spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. I must say it like a billion times a day. Keep spreading the word, guys, because I had an email from someone the other day and they said they did a talk at a WI. Not one of the women in the WI, who are all over 60, had heard of us. And yet we've got so much stuff they'd love to play.
Yeah. And
Love to watch, sorry.
yeah, and I do think that it's unique. No, because I can't think of anywhere else on TV could you just sit there and watch an episode of Dixon and Doc Green. Nowhere else could you. Well, you could listen to Jamie Tennant talking about doing it, but that's not anywhere near as
Mm.
good as the original. Even though David Tennant is good in most things he does, I'm not saying it's terrible. It's not as good as nothing can beat the original. And I think that's what I think personally that's what makes the channel because nowhere else will you be able to watch Dixon and Upgrade.
So memories done. You've got to think people when they watch something, they think back to what they were doing in their life at that time, where they just got married, where they're still living at home, and they just started going out with someone. I love all that when they say, oh, last time I saw this film, it was at the cinema with Linda, and 36 years later, we're now happily married, and things like that. I love all that.
Yeah. And one of the things that you do on the channel is some, as you said, original programming. What's it like working on the Cellar Club?
Love it. Caroline's an absolute dream. We have such a giggle. She's just the nicest woman. And I keep asking her, what was it like working with so and so in the industry? And what was it like working with so and so? And when you did that film, what was it like with her? And all she says always is, oh, they were lovely. Oh, they were lovely. I said to Caroline the other day, I said, one day you're going to turn around and say he was all right. But she hasn't yet. But yeah, we're up to, I don't know how many episodes we've done now. I think we're up to about 4 years of the Cellar Club now.
Yeah.
Yeah, give or take. Maybe it might be longer, actually, it might be 5 years. I might be doing Caroline a disservice, but she just did a holiday. We've started a travel club as well, and she just did a holiday where you could go on holiday with Dad and Caroline in Malta. And so a group of almost 40 of them went to all the film locations in Malta and the film studios, and Caroline did Q&As, and she was everywhere with them the whole trip. And they loved it. She's just the nicest person. I can't tell you.
And do you think that that's another moment to help make the channel more unique because you've not only you've got a fantastic archive, you've also got some stars that were around and pretty
Yeah,
much a lot,
aren't we
a lot of time
lucky?
there. Do you think that helps to say we
Yeah.
have these original program, these star people you'll know?
Yeah, well, definitely. To be able to play a film that Caroline's in, or any of the stars that we work with, quite honestly, is just brilliant. I love that. But it's so sad. Like I was researching the brothers, I wanted to do a brothers reunion and see who's left. And there's sort of Colin Baker and a couple of others, and that's it. And yet, when you're watching it, you're in that moment, you don't realize it was made X amount of years ago. And of course, hardly any of them are here anymore.
And do you think that because of if you look like DVDs and whatnot, some of the older DVDs and the remastering, do you think that that also helps with the channel when you find out that there's a program that you want to purchase, but you find out there's a higher quality version that you've got it's more clearance. Do you think that that's also another way of helping you because you can go, well, we can consider buying this because there's this version of it now.
Yes, sort of. I mean, we don't play from DVD. We go back to the original film or tape elements.
Yeah,
So yeah, to a degree, if I see that there's an HD restored mastered out there on Blu-ray, I'll be asking for that when I do the license that I want the HD version. Of course, we transmit an SD, so it would be down resed a little bit anyway, but still be pretty good. But yeah, it doesn't really. I mean, bless them. The public are forever sending me in DVDs saying, "Would you like this?" and "Can you play it on Tuesday?" And of course, it doesn't quite work like that. Oh, sorry, that's head of security going out to Jack Russell's. Um, so yes, but yeah, we don't play from DVD.
yeah. And what? Oh, what was I going to say? Ah, there it is. So where did the idea come from to start producing original programming in the first place?
Well, I've always been a producer and director,
Yeah,
and I miss doing it. So so sort of came up with some ideas and said to Dad, "What do you think?" And because we do it all ourselves, it's relatively cheap to produce.
yeah,
Because we just pay the talent and the I don't get paid, so we just pay the talent and the crew. Um, so that's kept me kind of in on what I'd always done, which is lovely because I miss it otherwise. And then our live shows and our events and stuff, I do all those, so that kind of
yeah,
keeps the grey cells going a bit more.
yeah. And do you think that the live shows for you help you to prove the point that you got all these fans watching your channel on a daily basis because they're willing to come to an event?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I mean, like, the big one we do in St. Albans in March, we have people from Spain, America, Stranraer, St. Ives. I mean, just everywhere come to St. Albans.
Yeah,
I love it. And I love meeting the public. I really do. It's nice though, because a lot of the ones when we do smaller events, so a lot of people that come to our events, once they've come to one, they follow us around the country and come to all of them. So you get to recognize faces and say hello and how are you? And, which is nice, especially if they've all come on their own. But they make friends and they've started little WhatsApp groups of, from all the different live shows where they've met each other in the lunch break and stuff, which I love. Um, and what we got, we're at Monmouth in July at a beautiful old cinema. It's the oldest working cinema in Wales, the Savoy.
yeah,
Love going there. Really lovely, lovely team. I sound like Caroline now, but they're a really nice team that run it, and most of which are volunteers. And then same Hebden Bridge. I love going to Hebden Bridge. That'll be our second time. I think this is our fourth or fifth time back to Monmouth, but it'll be our second time to Hebden.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
And for anyone that's got to this point in the interview and are really are still watching, what advice would you give someone to try and get into the world of not just TV in general, but like archive TV?
What do you mean, Dan? Just
Right.
to work with Archive
Yeah,
TV or
to get into to work in the world of working with archive TV.
watch it first? That would be my biggest advice where you're going to do your research.
Mhm.
Watch it. Watch us.
Yeah. And what was it? And do you think that when you go to these places, do you think that that also proves to you that there's still you can like show off that these films you can use them in the old venues like when they've got some of the old equipment? Do you think that that helps to show that you can show it in its traditional
Oh, yeah,
form?
definitely. It's nothing better than watching the projectionist up in the box, roll the reels, literally.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I love all that. I mean, so as long our live events, we'll have a couple of big names that will do a Q&A, and then we have some acts, and then we have, a bit of magic, and it's a bit like Sunday night at the Palladium, and then we roll a film at the
Yeah,
end of the day, and it's normally a lost film or one you wouldn't see anywhere else.
yeah. And why do you think that the channel's been going for 10 years? What would you put down the success to the channel to?
Hard work. I mean, Dad and I work 7 days a week. If we're not working on a show, we're trying to buy shows or working on social media or trying to come up with a newsletter, or we do our own magazine as well, intermission. You can take an intermission. So we'll be writing articles or finding articles or commissioning articles or whatever, or trying to sell airtime or ad space or sell tickets, come up with ideas for selling tickets or getting the word out. It is dedication, I would say, uh, which is why you're not talking to me from my private yacht in the in the Bahamas. I'm still in the shed. So it is very much for the love of it. I mean, we need money, we need revenue to keep going and buying films, obviously. But it's not the great big business that everybody thinks it is.
Yeah. And do you think that the magazine is also another way for the viewers to get to know
Yeah,
the channel more because they
yeah,
get to read about it and watch it at the same time if they want to multitask?
yeah, yeah. I mean, we do articles about everything. There'll be nostalgia. We've got a big article this month about those that created the sound for silence, all the pianists and everything. What else we got? Oh, we did a tribute to Jean Marsh. I love Jean Marsh, who died obviously recently. Big thing on Googie Withers, legacy of the wonderful films. A look at the Children's Film Foundation, trains and boats and planes. So looking at old transport, and the musicians who made the cinema special. So yeah, it's a real mixture. It's beautifully put together. I'm very, very proud of it. They've got their own footage detectives page as well. My little dad, look at him.
Yeah,
So yeah, so I think that's all another part of because the channel isn't really a channel, it's a community of people that want to save celluloid.
yeah,
It's not straightforward as press the button and press play.
yeah. And you can tell that there's more care taken into it. And my always good example is our trusty friend Gold that don't take care because you can. My favourite bit is you can watch one episode of Only Fools and Horses, something else, then the same episode within the same
Oh
hour.
dear.
And I just think that that's brilliant because it's that bad you can even notice. Or you can watch a two-parter in the same hour and then watch the next two-parter in the next hour. And I think that's what makes Talking Pictures TV better because you can tell there's more care taken to it. And I think one of the bits that I think helps to make it more a magical experience is when you go to an ad break, it makes it clear that it's an intermission. And
Yeah.
do you think that that's also another way of helping people be nostalgic because they can see that it makes them feel like they're at an old cinema because
I
they're
hope
taking an
so.
intermission.
Yeah, I mean that was my intention when I made all the idents.
Yeah,
It took me forever to find footage of projectionists because it's quite a rare thing because they're only ever behind the rear. Who would shoot them? Do you see what I mean? So finding the footage was difficult.
yeah,
Uh, it does make me laugh though. There's one ident that I use where it's a cinema queue outside, normally before a film starts or not generally coming back from a break. And the amount of people that have written in and said, that's my mum in the queue for the lady at the front. I think we're up to, Dad and I had a little thing on the wall somewhere. I don't know where, but 352 people think that that's their mum at the moment.
wow. And do you think that that's one of the hardest things to think about when creating the channel is working out what idents you want to be able to make sure that it looks unique, that it makes sure that you know that it's people working on it, not just buttons being pressed like that's TV 1, 2, and 3. Do you think that that's what makes it special having these like unique idents that you won't get on any other channel?
I hope so, darling. I try very hard to kind of make people feel that they're sitting in the cinema back in the flea pits.
Yeah.
So I hope so. I hope it works. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's what makes a channel. I think the ident shows that it's got a personality, that it shows that it's got passion behind it. And do you think that's what also helps because you've got the passion and you can tell that in everything you do there's passion involved, not just button pressing.
Yeah, yeah. Also, we work for ourselves. We're not part of some huge conglomerate that just tells you what you've got to do each day. It really is put together with love.
Yeah. And and as we come towards the end of this glorious, lovely, amazing interview, have you got any upcoming programs that you're really excited for people to gaze their eyes at?
Oh yeah, we've got a load of new films on at the moment. A lot of them are British bees. I would keep your eyes out for that. Sign up for the free newsletter. We do a free newsletter every Sunday. We've got The Vice, the series coming soon. That's not been on British TV or any TV for God knows how long. And we found episodes that aren't on any of the DVD box sets or anything. So real proper nuggets there. And hopefully we've soon got the black and white Z-Cars episodes coming. Won't
Wow.
be long, hopefully. Yeah.
And and I think that's what makes people want to tune in when you hear the words not seen on British TV for X amount of years. And I think that that's it's a good attention grabbing article, and B, it makes you go, yes, I will go and watch that because it's
Oh,
not on
good.
TV.
It's working then.
And I think that's what really works. I mean, a lot you can see a lot of channels attempt to do that, and sometimes, depending on what they're showing, sometimes it doesn't work, but on most of the time it does. And do you think that helps you because you've got something that no other channel will have broadcast in the last 30 odd years?
Or longer. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I'd like to say that the stuff that we started playing, no one had ever seen. Now there's loads of channels that have gone to the same archives as us because we did all the homework and they're just nicking the ideas, and buying the same films.
Yeah,
I mean, why? Why don't you just go and find your own bloody films? Um, uh, so yes, so as much as I can, I'm really proud of the stuff that we literally can say you would not see this anywhere else.
and and that's what's brilliant because a lot of channels. I think in the 10 years since Talking Pictures have been around, I think a lot of other channels have tried to do the same, but I don't think have captured the same. So Rewind TV is a good example. Is you can watch some black and white films, but I don't think you'll get the same feeling.
We've played all the ones they're playing, Tom.
Yeah, and I think that that's what I think that shows that you're a
You got,
pioneer.
you've got to have your own ideas,
Yeah, and I think that
I would say, on that subject.
yeah. And do you think that that works, that you're considered the pioneer of the field of making these things that are extra nostalgic and make sure that it's brand new to a younger audience because younger people might stumble across it if
Oh
they're like
yeah,
Nan's one.
definitely Batman, the original Batman series that we're playing. That's definitely brought a much younger audience in. Not kids. We don't have kids watch us at all. But those that were kids at the time, which are slightly younger. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And and what do you think will help you to keep the channel going for the next 10, 20, 30
Oh,
years?
Tom, that's a tricky one. So TV advertising is really suffering. It's on the decline because advertisers think that their demographic's not watching telly.
Yeah,
My demographic are very much so. I'm going to have to do more events to keep the coffers up.
yeah,
More subscribers to the magazine. Um, maybe a bit more merchandise. I
yeah.
don't know. I'm going to have to keep thinking out the box to keep it going. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, and they always say that you always read these like articles saying, oh, so such a amount of people are now no longer watching linear broadcast TV, and then every time well, to be fair, when I'm in I've because I do well, I'm not doing it at the moment, but I do radio television production at uni, and you're in these classes where they say, do you watch this, that, the other, and you can see when they say put your hands up. I mean, it shows everyone else has got a life, but it shows that I'm the only one still putting my hand up. So they say, who watches Holmes on
Oh,
Hammer, for example, as a broad example of programs that other people might not be watching. It's always me that puts my hand up, but it shows that it could be right, but it shows that there's still, well, it's out of them, well, it's just me, but it does show that there's still people watching.
You're doing exactly the right thing, darling.
Yeah. And
You can learn so much. Any TV and film students who ask me, well, how'd you get in the industry? I was like, mate, I made cups of tea for 3 years, so don't ask me. Um, you can learn so much from watching a 1951 black and white, even if it's just learning about the lighting or how they shot things or working on a budget or how they turned one room to be 18 different locations and things like that. You can just learn a lot. The style, everything. There's a lot to be learned from old films and series for students.
And so, to conclude that, Talking Pictures TV is not just entertaining, it's also educational. So,
You
get,
learn stuff here.
get watching. And so, for anyone that's got to this point in the interview but wants to know where they can find Talking Pictures TV, they could just Google, but what are the numbers for the
Of
different?
course. So we're free on Freeview 82, Sky 328, and that's traditional Sky, none of the new Sky Glass, Sky Stream, I'm afraid. Virgin 445, FreeSat 306, and of course on our free app, talking tptvencore.co.uk.
There we go. And it proves the point that Sky Glass is a terrible name because it's thicker than glass. It doesn't even look like glass. It should just be a pane of double glazing, is what Sky Glass should be, but it's not. And so there we have it. Another excellent, wonderful interview. Thank you for letting me interview you.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for asking me.
Welcome. And thank you guys for watching. And remember, no, I forgot.